Hello everyone and welcome to another video and welcome to the biggest SUV from the Volvo lineup, which is the Volvo XC90 Inscription. So in today's video I'm going to be showing you all the interiors, the exteriors, and we'll be also going on a short drive in this Volvo XC90. Let's kickstart things from the front. So you get this usual Volvo design grille, but this is a little bit smaller than the XC60 or the 40 versions, but this has this sort of silver coating on it, and also it's got the chrome around the Volvo badging and also a chrome surround around it. There is also a camera system, part of the 360-degree camera system on this car. And then we come to this beautiful looking headlight cluster. Now I say beautiful because there are so many tiny LEDs that are placed inside this cluster, and also there is a DRL, and that DRL converts into the turning lights also. So these headlights are adaptive headlights, and there are also cornering lights in them. At the bottom you would see this chrome surround around this plastic trim, so it's just there for the design. And then there are also parking sensors out here. At the bottom you would find a strip of LED fog lamps, and then the usual bonnet design at the bottom, which has more grills. So coming to the sides, you get 20-inch black diamond cut alloy rims and some big brake calipers and the brake disc. And at the bottom you would find this chrome strip which has inscription inscribed on it. And then these side mirrors are power foldable, they have blind spot warning system, they are power adjustable, and also they have the LED turn signal in them. And also there is a camera out of the 360-degree camera on both the sides, so that camera is also mounted out here. The smart keyless entry door, and also you get chrome surround around that door handle also, and there is another chrome garnishing like a surround around those windows. At the top also there is the silver roof rails, not the chrome ones but the silver ones. In the back you get LED tail light cluster, and then this is a really huge tail light cluster, and then it extends all the way till the roof line, and then even the LEDs inside them also extend pretty much all the way till the top. Then you get the XC90 badging and the Volvo badging, and this particular model is the XC90 T6 all-wheel drive Inscription version. God, I got it right, thank God. So yeah, I'm going to be discussing why the T6, so it's related to the engine and the specs, so I'm going to be discussing that also later on. And then you get a rear wiper also, and then the visibility from here is pretty good. You can actually see the visibility through those pillars also onto the side, and these windows are actually pretty big. So the car itself is very sort of boxy, so you know there are not many angles that hinder the visibility when you are sitting inside the car. Now there is also a chrome strip out here, and then there is a silver panel at the bottom, and there is another chrome surround around the dual exhaust tips on both the sides, and then there are more parking sensors. Now coming to the boot space, so first of all, notice like it's a very huge opening, and you know it's almost till the end on both the sides of the car. So the eventual loading area is pretty big and is also even. So you get 356 liters of boot space. There are also scruff plates, and there is no lip, so you know sliding your luggage in and out is going to be very easy. There is a stand that you can lift up, and then you know you can use to hang your bags or anything, whatever you want, luggage. But then these seats are in the way, so you have to first push the seats a little bit ahead, and then you can open that one. There's also a boot separator, but there is no space to put this boot separator anywhere, so it would just be lying out here, but at least it fits inside the boot itself, so that is still a good thing. And then these third row of seats are again foldable, so when you fold them you would get 1007 liters of boot space, and they are very easy. So you just press this button, push them down, and relatively flat, I mean not even relatively, it's just flat area. So when you drop the second row of seat, but for that you have to go from here and drop them. I'm just going to be doing one right now, so just to show you all. So when you do that, you will get 1856 liters of boot space. Again, even that is flat. So this is like a very huge sort of boot space that you get, and which is very even. So I recently did a sort of a challenge before this video where I took a 65-inch Samsung TV like with the box in from this curve and drove it all the way from Fujairah till Dubai. So yeah, that was a long trip, and so if you want to watch that video, you can click on the pop-up banner out here and watch it. Now otherwise, there is also a charging plug in the back. There are also boot lights. There are also more tying points in the back, so you can, you know, put more of your bags or something. They also have everything written on them, like, you know, how much weight you can hang on those hooks. Also at the bottom you would find a spare wheel that has been provided. We'll step inside, and the Volvo XC90 is a perfect blend of luxury and practicality, both combined into one. So let's start with the basic material. So you get soft touch plastics on the dashboard, even on the door cards, but on the door cards are made so beautifully, and then you would find the real sort of wood. So it is a walnut wood inlay that they put on the dashboard itself, on the door cards. There are so many bits where they put even out here in the center console, everywhere, like even on the dashboard out here. So everywhere they've used that real wood, and they've not even laminated, and when you touch it you can actually feel the wood, like the proper wooden surface, and that is so cool, because when you laminate it looks like a plastic trim, you know, but instead this looks very natural and very good. Then there are more aluminum plates on the speaker covers, and then everywhere it just shouts luxury, like every single place. Now coming to the information display in the dashboard, you get 12-inch big information, as is with all the Volvos, the 40s and the 60s. So you get like this information display in the center, which will show you your media, or if you choose not to have anything on your screen, then it wouldn't show you anything, or the map. So they've simplified the system a lot so that it's easier to use when, you know, you just get in and you want to start using it. And then you can also customize these dials to, you know, show chrome rings, or if you don't want any rings, or if you want sporty dials, or if you want sort of aluminum finish around those dials. So you can select that option from the infotainment screen and change the look of those dials. The steering wheel is manually adjustable, tilt and telescopic, and on your right side you would find the infotainment controls, and on your left side you would get the adaptive cruise control. Now that adaptive cruise control is actually usable, so there is a pilot assist button also, and also adaptive cruise control. So if you want a pilot assist while you're using the adaptive cruise control, you can get that option also. Now if you just want to use the cruise control, there is an option given in the infotainment screen, so you can click on that, and then it will just switch to your normal cruise control instead of the adaptive. And when you press that option again, it will just deactivate cruise control and go back to the adaptive cruise control. Now the steering wheel is leather covered steering wheel, but in the center bit where the Volvo logo is, and that thing is given in plastic. Now that, I mean, they had just made it into a leather or something, that would have looked really nice, because it just spoils the whole feel of the steering wheel. Now coming to the air conditioning controls, the air conditioning control is given in the infotainment screen. Now time and again I have said, like, because it's in the infotainment system, like if the infotainment system stops working, you are probably left out without air conditioning, and it was better if they give just dials, because this is the same system that they picked from which is available in the XC90, the 60, sorry, and the 40. So the air conditioning system is that way, it's very simple to operate. You just press one button, and then there are all the options for your fan speed, for your so it's a 4-zone climate control system. So the dual zone is in the front, there is another zone for the second row of seat, and the fourth zone on the third row of seats. So all of that can be controlled from here itself, and also from the second row of seats. Also there are ventilated seat options, which is given in the infotainment screen itself, so you can press that for the driver and the passenger. Now the vents on the XC90 are a little bit very simple, because you know, the design on the XC40 and the 60, where they have the vertical slots, and then, you know, that looks really nice. But in this it looks very average, you know, like they've just put like plain sort of air conditioning just vents out here. But instead, if they would have just taken those same ones, it would have really completed the look on the dashboard. Now coming to the infotainment screen, now this infotainment screen is a 9-inch touchscreen crystal clear display, which is so good about these screens in the Volvo, the latest ones, even on the 40 and the 60, they were just brilliant. It's the same system, but this infotainment system is very simplified, I find, because when I was using in the XC40 last year, there were just way too many options that you could go around from so many different places. But in this, they made sure everything is just from the single position that you like the single area that you can access all the menu options. So the main option is your front screen, where you have your navigation system, which is a pretty cool navigation system, and it's very snappy also, so it works flawlessly. There's also radio or the Bluetooth control, or so in terms of the connectivity, you would get Bluetooth, there is Android Auto, there is Apple CarPlay, there is also a USB that you can connect the system with. There is also a CD player that is given in the center armrest, so that is also a DVD player that you can use. And at the bottom, it's a changeable sort of widget that you get, so that depends on the latest option that you've used from the system. So when you swipe it on the left side, there are more options where you can change all the different settings: your lane keep assist, your park assist, there is also heads up display, there is distance alert, there's start stop, there is this one option where you can fold the headrest from this infotainment screen, the second row of headrest. I don't know why would you do that, but it's just given. There are more options out here where you can change everything from your active bending lights, which I mentioned before, your cornering lights, you can switch it on and off. There is also another option where you can adjust the passenger seat from the driver seat. So you have to press it on the on-screen option that is given, and then you can adjust the passenger seat from the driver seat. You can use the controls on your driver side and then change it. And now when you go on the right side, and then you would find the options for your FM, your Bluetooth, your USB, your iPod, then the sound experience. So this car comes with, be prepared, 19 speakers, Bower and Wilkins music system, and it is fantastic. This is the surround sound system, which is amazing. They have some built-in preset audio options that you can choose from. There is a concert hall, there is individual controls, there is their own set of controls, there is engagement and so many intensity and all of that things that you can change inside this sound experience, and it is just brilliant. Like, that is one area which is commendable what they've given, like 19 speakers. There's a subwoofer also included in that. So continuing, you get the driver performance and all of those things. And then if you want to access the settings, you have to swipe down the menu, and there is a settings option where you can access your my car, sound, navigation, media, communication and all of that. There is also a heads up display, and it is very clear. You can adjust the heads up display from the infotainment screen itself, and then you can choose to show you whatever information you want on the heads up display. It's pretty bright during the day and also at night. You get a ton of storage in this car. So you get you can put like 1.5 liters worth of bottle in the door cards. There are 2 more cup holders out here. There's another sort of area where you can put your keys or anything. Then there are more smaller spaces out here where you can put more of your keys and stuff. There is one more storage on the driver side where you can put, I don't know, your license or wallet. And then here's the bit. So in order to open the glove box, there is a button which is given on the dashboard. Now you would just think there is either no glove box, because there is no button that is usually there to just open it. So it's again electronically openable. So when you press that, it opens the glove box, and then you can just close it again. In the center armrest, again there is some amount of storage again where you can put your phones and your wallets. And then there comes the 2 USB ports which are there in the center console. Now in terms of the charging options, you get 120-watt power socket out here, 2 USB ports which I mentioned in the center console, and 1 3-pin plug for the rear passengers, the second row of passengers. So for some reason they've not given the USB ports, but they've choose to give you the 3-pin plug. So the media controls are actually given out here at the bottom of the infotainment screen. Now this car comes with a panoramic sunroof, and it opens all the way till the back, like pretty much till the back, like behind the second row of seats. These seats are blonde colored ventilated seats, and they are pretty sporty that way, but also at the same time they are comfortable. Now these seats are completely electronically adjustable, so These seats are 8-way electronically adjustable, all your usual stuff. Now there is also a dial which has been given on the side of the seat. So when you press that, you can choose to change the side bolster, 2-way adjustable. So you can have more sportier version where it will grip you when you are driving the car. And then there is another lumbar support which is 4-way adjustable that you can choose to do that. And then there is cushion extension. So these extensions at the bottom of my thighs, they can be extended electronically. So these 3 options are again given on that dial itself, and then there is like a joystick with which you can change all the different settings, and this is available on the driver and the passenger side. There's also a clip for your parking tickets so that you can easily display your parking tickets. Now in the second row of seat, the XC90 is again where it excels in terms of the offering, in terms of the space. So there is quite a bit of leg room, and mind you, these seats are in my driving position, so there is like fair bit of leg space, and there is also enough of headroom because this car is very boxy, so you get this essential head space. Even if you are bigger than 6 feet, that you can easily fit in this car. There is also blinders in the rear doors, and then that you can easily put. There is also again the walnut wood and also leather material and a mixture of metal and everything, and 1 liter worth of water storage in the rear door cart. These seats are again perforated, but they are no ventilated seats, but they are just normal blonde leather colored rear seats. And then there is a middle row of seat which is actually very comfortable, surprisingly. Although this is like a 4-wheel drive, but there is no big center tunnel which goes, so it's a very sort of flattish tunnel, so you can easily sit in the middle seat also, and the middle passenger is going to be comfortable. That's pretty assuring. There is also a middle headrest, but that is collapsible, so you can lower it when the one is sitting out here, so that it's easier for the driver to look in the back. And then these seats are again foldable in a ratio of 40:20:40, and they fold relatively flat. And then there is also 120-watt power socket and also a 230-volt 3-pin plug which has been given in the back. And then there is also AC vents which are vertical, and then there is a control out here which is again a touchscreen control to control the air conditioning for the second row of seat. And then there are vents on the side frame also. There is also a handrest which you can pull out. It's pretty decent height, and there are also 2 cup holders given, so you have to press this button and open the cup holders, but when you don't want to use it, you can close it and then put the handrest back. Well, in the third row of seat, again you get 2 seats which are perforated and again blonde colored leather seats, and then on both the sides you would find cup holders and also some more storage where you can store your phones or your wallets or something. And then there are also rear AC vents on both the pillars, and it's actually a pretty decent amount of space in the rear. But the only issue is getting in and out of these seats, because the second row of seat, they actually don't fold. So what they do is they just slide ahead, and then you have to be really athletic to get in, and then again obviously you have to be athletic to come out of it. So that's the only concern, but otherwise these seats offer quite a bit of decent amount of leg room, I would say. And also there is head space also, because again this car is pretty much boxy, so you get that essential headroom. And this is like a 6-foot person can easily sit in the third row of seat. And then because the second row of seat are also slidable, you can push them a little bit in the front and get some more extra leg space to stretch your legs. So the Volvo XC90 comes with a T6 engine. Now that T6 engine is a 2-liter supercharged and turbocharged 4-cylinder petrol engine that produces 320 brake horsepower and 400 Newton meters of torque. This engine has been mated to a 8-speed Geartronic transmission, and it's an all-wheel drive car. Now, the engine, you may think that it's a little bit smaller, but then there is the supercharger and the turbocharger. So Volvo basically has different levels of engine options that you can choose from. So there is a T4 which is just naturally aspirated, there's T5 which is turbocharged, there's T6 which is this supercharged and turbocharged, and also there is a T8 which is like a hybrid engine, and all of that, which is the most efficient engine. But this engine power delivery is super smooth, let me tell you, from the word go, because where the usually the torque lags in the initial phase, that is being covered by the supercharger, and when there is a need for additional amount of torque and power, it's when the turbocharger kicks in, and there is like a linear sort of power band across the entire RPM levels, and that is pretty smooth. Even the gear shifts are crisp, like you wouldn't even notice that the car is actually shifting gears. In many of the cases you would just miss out, like, you know, that you are like changing 8 gears, like going across 8 gears. So that is, it's a pretty smooth sort of, you know, setup of engine and the gearbox, like very easy, and you know, just picks up from, and also it's very efficient, like it delivers anywhere between 9 to 10 kilometers, which is pretty decent for an SUV this big. Now steering is something where I wasn't impressed like a lot, because this steering is an electronic steering, but it lacks the feedback. It's just way too light, and you know, you can't feel anything, the road surface or any feedback from the steering wheel. Like you would just, it just feels like it is just gliding, you know, on the road surface, instead of giving you the feedback like what it's trying to do. But I mean, the turning radius on this is surprisingly very small, like it's very small, and I was actually pretty impressed with that, to be honest. The suspension is on the softer side, so there is a bit of a roll when you're trying to, you know, take a turn, and you know, at a decent amount of speed. So it's just a little bit, you know, it's too soft on some occasions, because it will just sort of bend around, you know, too much. And then a car again this big, because it's sitting quite high, you know, and for it to be having, you know, that amount of roll, it just magnifies when you are, you know, trying to take a turn. So yeah, on the softer side, on the suspension end, it's a little bit on the softer side. Now coming to the brakes are pretty good. Wow, because it's got 4 disc brakes, so it's got like decent amount of braking power, and which is what is needed again for an SUV this big. Now this car, in terms of the NVH levels, it's all right actually, because it's not, because a 2-liter engine is actually pretty stressed out, you know, when you're going at higher speeds of about 120 or let's say 140, and at that point of time the engine tends to be a little shouty, but the build quality is pretty good, so which is why it doesn't, anything inside doesn't even rattle or does anything sort of that. Now in terms of the safety systems, you get 9 airbags, so 2 for the front driver and the passenger, that is the front airbags. There are 2 side airbags, there are 6 curtain airbags, all in the pillars till the back, and then there is also one more driver's knee airbag. There is also a fantastic 360-degree camera system. Again, that is to do with the fact, because the screen is so good, the output from the camera is actually pretty crisp and clear. You know, it's one of the topmost 360-degree camera systems that you will witness. There are also child isofix points in the back. Then there is also the Volvo's IntelliSafe system, where, you know, there is a lane assist for you. There is also the lane keep assist, and the annoying thing sometimes is that, you know, when that is kept on, it always tries to keep, you know, connecting your steering action, like it tries to keep the car always in the center, because sometimes, you know, I can see the road, and you know, like I may want to avoid something, an obstruction, but the car would just tend to, you know, throw me into the lane again, and that is until, you know, when you just deactivate the system, because that is what you have to eventually do, because it's just too intrusive, you know, that the assist system. And then otherwise there is also adaptive cruise control, there is also tire pressure monitoring system, there is ABS, there is hill start assist, there are also rear collision warning, there is also a whiplash system, which is pretty important if you have like a high speed crash and, you know, you don't jerk your neck. So there is also that. There's also blind spot warning system. There is also pre-tensioners in the seat belt, so, you know, when you go aggressive, these tensions would kick in, and, you know, just make sure that you are in your seat. This XC90 also comes with different driving modes, so you get actually four types of driving mode. So there is a comfort mode, there is a dynamic mode, and then there is also an eco mode. So eco mode is where you can get the maximum efficiency out of the system, and there is also one more off-road mode. So that off-road mode can only be started when you stop the car and then put the car into that off-road mode using this scroller dial, and then the car would only go up to 40 kilos. So I'm just guessing that it just switches the car into a 4-low mode, and that is pretty much in terms of the off-roading mode that you can get from this car. So the Volvo XC90 is a practical car with a premium feel. So it's actually 5-on-5 for practicality inside this car, because it's so spacious, and in fact I transported a 65-inch TV right in this car, and it is comfortable. It is very good, like a 7-seater family SUV. There is ample of space for the third row of passenger, and the Inscription version comes at 365,000 dirhams. It's a price you pay for all the premiumness and the safety systems, and on an everyday use this car is still good enough when it is compared to a lot of premium 7-seater SUVs that you can compare with. So otherwise, yeah, it's all down to your personal choice, which car you would prefer. Like you are considering safety or the overall comfort, then this is the car that you can choose. Anyways, that is pretty much it for this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and if you want to subscribe to my channel, then click here, and if you want to watch more videos, then click here. I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye and take care.